REKT. Fucking REKT. That scene was good, dude. GAHARA-SAN greatness. Oh my god. Just straight up destroys Sadachi. One-shots the girl. Just TKO. She had the little birdies chirping over her head. Oh my god. It was enough to just see my tsundere goddess back. On top of that, I had this fucking adorable scene of her dragging Hanakawa across the ground as Hanakawa is trying to hold her back. Fucking kawaii as a shit, dude. And she comes in there and she's like, yo, I'm the only one who's allowed to stab Araragi with stationery, dude. And then Sadachi had the nerve to slap my god. Yo, she put her out before fainting into the man's eye. Yo, that scene was... I wish I did a live reaction to this episode just for that scene, dude. Oh my god, GAHARA. Like, I knew as soon as... Sadachi's fucking insane. Sadachi is straight up insane. Like, when she was heated as fuck, when she's like, Kirai, 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 I hate the fucking water that thinks that it's boiled itself, the sun that thinks that it's set by itself, people can't be saved, you know, people can't be happy unless somebody else saves them, and that's her mentality. There's a lot of contradiction in Sadachi's words, but we'll get there in a second, right? Ultimately, I feel like I know why she's salty. Ultimately, I feel like I know why she's salty, but we'll get there as well. The point is, as soon as she stabbed the man, I was like, you can be as pissed as you want, you can express your hatred to the man as much as you want, but once you lay hands on my boy Koyomi, the wrath of GAHARA-SAN will descend upon you, dude. And seeing my girl, yo, she came in not but 2 seconds later and destroyed her. Oh my god, man. Anyway, Owarimonogatari, episode 2, Sadachi Riddle episode, part 1. I'm going to go in depth with these reviews going forward, and right now all I want to talk about is what the new information that we've gleaned, you know, and the new hints that we've gotten as far as Ougi's character is concerned, finally solidify the theory that I have as far as Ougi goes, because I have enough evidence at this point, okay? I have enough, now that the ties and the little connections to the events in second season are being, you know, filled in and woven together, I have enough evidence to firmly believe this. And a lot of people have speculated this, you know, who are hardcore Monogatari fans like myself. We've speculated this for quite some time, but now, dude, now, and we've always known there was a link in some regard, but now it's undeniable, and the only question that remains is she, you know, an oddity? Is she an apparition at that point? Then, but the link between her and Araragi is real. I'm going to dive into it, right? I'm going to dive into it in a second. And I'm going to go somewhere in depth because I want to analyze some of the visuals and the dialogue, but ultimately this video just needs to be about the shade surrounding Ougi right now. How insane Sadachi is, and delving into that, and also the exposition that we're getting into Araragi's past and how it ties in. I love fucking, that's why Nisio Sensei's GOAT, dude. That's why Nisio Isin is fucking godly, because the man is getting us into Sadachi's story and her history and everything like that, and fleshing out this new character, while simultaneously building the final boss developments with Ougi as far as Araragi's concerned, giving us exposition to his past. Like, I had no idea. This whole time I've wondered what Araragi and the Fire Sisters' parents did. This whole time I've wondered. We only saw a glimpse of his mother one time, okay? Turns out they're police officers, and what Ougi said about the trauma, dude, yo, dude, everything that she says makes sense. Even one of her lines, I believe, was straight up internal monologue from Araragi, dude. Oh my god, it's near undeniable at this point, especially what Shaft is doing with the opening sequence, which is fucking trippy as shit, I'm not gonna lie. The mirror images, they even had the credits mirrored. I was like, yo, song is go. Really love it, but simultaneously developing the hidden link between Araragi and you know, Ougi, as well as establishing, you know, this mysterious air in the past between Sadachi and Araragi, and what, you know, Sadachi went through in the past to make her hate Araragi to this point, dude. And it's all about this, you know, talking about Araragi's roots and who he is in and of himself, this question of identity, you know, this question of what an individual's justice is and what their righteousness is, and Sadachi calling Araragi out on it, dude. We're gonna get out to it, dude. There's too much, and I feel like when I start going in depth, because next week with part 2 of Sadachi Riddle, I'm going to go in depth almost TG Re style and go through the episode during the video so I can find certain portions and actually read the dialogue that I really want to talk about. Right now I'm not going to do that because I'm a bit behind today and I kind of make this video a little bit shorter. But here's the first thing. I need to apologize because I was incorrect with what I said in episode 1 review. And the thing is, I feel like I should have known this, but I was just off at some reason. I was just giving, it was kind of like a blanket statement. But this does the Ougi formula in particular, and Sadachi Riddle instantly follows Ougi formula. So where we are in the timeline now, chronologically throughout the Monogatari verse, does not take place before, you know, second season as a whole. Okay, it in fact takes place directly, not directly, but after the events, you know, a couple months after the events of Shinobu Time and what will happen at the end of this core, Shinobu Male. And so inherently it's after Mayoi Jianshi, which that in of itself is a crazy indication, which I'm going to get into in a second. It's after, you know, Nekomonogatari Shiro, and it's after, you know, Shinobu Time and everything like that, as far as Monogatari second season is concerned. Since it takes place in October, it has to still be before Nadeko Medusa, and that's another link to second season that I caught quickly. It's very subtle, but in this episode, I'm going to get to that too. And then it's before Hitagi End as well. So that's actually where it takes place in the timeline. Now, two things, which, as far as where this is in the timeline, the implications of that, as far as final boss Ougi is concerned, and her true origins, and that line in this episode, dude, and the symbolism where she's just like, as a matter of fact, I feel like I've just been born very recently. You see her in the mirror, and then the cut, dude, what Shaft did there, the cinematography. You see Koyomi, you see Araragi in the mirrors, and an infinite stream of mirrors, you know, from the dual reflection back and forth, dude. I'm like, yo, REKT, it's not so long, and that's the thing. We've always speculated that Ougi is potentially an apparition, that she's you know, non-cyclical, she's come out of nowhere. This whole link to Meme is complete sham. Kaiki has confirmed that in and of itself, regardless. And this episode talking about, is this heir the same heir as the Cram School? Almost everything that comes out of Ougi's mouth in regard to Araragi assumes either his answer and assumes what he's thinking, and the very fact that Araragi says it himself in this episode that he's loose-lipped when it comes to Ougi. He doesn't even understand what kind of mesmerization that he's under before, you know, before he even realizes, or he has the attempts like he normally does to kind of skirt or deviate from anything that people says, often coming up with, you know, little fallacies and putting up a facade. He's already told her the 100% of the truth before he even realizes what he's done. Okay? The very fact that this takes place after Mayoi Jianshi, I don't think people understand this, because people back in the day, when, if you watched Monogatari second season when it was airing, I believe it was summer season like 2012, some shit like that. It was like 3 years ago or something like that, 2 years ago. So something like that. I want to say 3 years ago, but it is probably realistically 2 years ago. But anyway, when it was airing, dude, and we saw Manja, a lot of us were like, yo, what the fuck? Who is this? That was the inception of the enigmatic character that was Ougi, who has been puppeteering behind the scenes throughout the rest of second season, Suki Monogatari, Hana, and not Hana, because Hana, everything seems to be resolved, and that's one thing. Having to keep Hana in mind is the only thing that's strange to me when going down 100% with this theory. But regardless, the very fact that when Ougi was introduced in Jianshi, it was as if everybody already knew her. It was just like she was supposed, even the audience breaking the fourth wall yet again. It's just like, yo, this is normal. We all know who this is. It's Ougi. And Araragi's talking to her. I remember that conversation starkly. It's one of my favorite moments at the beginning of second season, the conversation about traffic lights, dude. And in the stairwell. If Araragi did not formally meet Ougi until the events of Ougi formula when Kanbaru introduced her, then what was that? What was that whole sequence? And that is the inception of solidifying the theory that Ougi is in fact one and the same with Araragi. Potentially, the way I like to spin it is that she is in fact an oddity crafted from Araragi's subconscious, most likely due and has some relation to, you know, the events that took place probably since post-Kizu, and also this blank slate in his memory that we can't find any entrance to. He's forgotten so much, and yes, that's kind of normal. But the very fact that and it's not even just now. It's not even just Ougi formula and right now in Sadachi Riddle that, you know, Araragi has had problems with his memory, as if he doesn't remember this certain time. Everything before high school to him is a general blur. And even think back to when back in Bakemono, when he first encountered Nadeko and when she's running down the shrine. He couldn't remember for the longest, dude. If he actually had a good enough memory, so something about the events that took place in this gap time, you know, has a significant play. And I want to get into that a bit later, probably in another video. But for now, or when I'm talking about Sadachi, but I need to stick with Ougi for a second, right? So that is one thing right there. That's the main theory that I'm going to latch onto right now. The way that she guided him through Ougi formula, the whole manipulation. I don't know if she has a conscious of her own, or if it's even more twisted and is straight up 100% subconscious Araragi affecting this apparition, and this guy's just going in and doing shit of his own accord, because orchestrating the events of Nadeko Medusa, which, if you guys don't remember well, Monogatari second season, I highly recommend you at least rewatch second season to piece everything together that's going to transpire in Owarimonogatari from what I'm seeing right now in these first 2 episodes, alright? In front of those men, and it's a subtle scene after they're talking, about the Monty Hall, quiz and everything like that, which that plus Eula's identity, the way that mathematics has been intricately woven into these last 2 arcs concerning Sadachi and everything like that, is fucking beautiful. It has displays tremendously, especially with the stylization. I love this cartoon style that they went with to showcase that. But anyway, I digress. Before they decide to, follow the map and leave, Araragi turns around for a second after he's like, let's go, and Ougi's gone. And you see this shot of Ougi looking at a locker. Then Araragi goes searching for Ougi, and you see him standing above what seems to be, or in front of what seems to be the very same locker that she was just in front of, Nadeko's locker, okay? And it's almost suggesting, through the cinematography, that, they are one and the same observing this, because Araragi himself saw this, Ougi saw it as well. And that is probably, in and of itself, whatever thoughts the man had concerning Nadeko, prompted Ougi and allowed her to have this information in order to, go and orchestrate the events of creating, the god that was Nadeko. So that really stuck out to me. And the only thing that I can say in regards to this, though, actually it's not even important right now. It's not even important. So let's go through here for a second. I need to see some of this other stuff, this other dialogue real quick. I mean, that's basically the thing that I need to talk about ultimately is the Ougi theory crafting, and I can't seem to. I've lost my train of thought. I was going so good for a second there, but I don't know where I was going with that, man. I don't know what my next point was at all. It's lost. It's lost in the wind. But let's talk about some of the stylization, dude. From the beginning of the episode, when Araragi confronts Sadachi and her hatred just emanates from her, dude. What they did with blowing back the desk and everything, just classic Monogatari style, certain inserts, the facial expressions, kind of taking it in this throwback, manner. And this one Araragi panel is amazing to me as far as Sadachi goes. But here's what I'm thinking as far as Sadachi's character is, and her whole dialogue about, and Ougi in of herself, which again is more solidification for her character, and thinking about the fact and this tie to Araragi and potentially being generated from subconscious and being Araragi himself, or an oddity at the very least created by Araragi, is that the dialogue that he had as he's recounting this story of what happened between Gahara and Sadachi and his re-encounter with her, Ougi, that was the flashback before they actually ended up at the middle school. As she recounts what we saw in these scenes, she's saying lines of it as if, that were only in Aragi's internal monologue. And I wonder if, yes, it was just all part of his narration of what he told her, or if she's peering to her, like, she seemed genuinely surprised, for example, when he was like, my parents are police officers. And she seemed ecstatic about the fact that he revealed that, and playing off of it instantly about the trauma that he could potentially have. And that's when Araragi starts to realize. And he's already felt something shady about her since Ougi formed that. And before then, it was kind of ridiculous how he wasn't feeling it too much until the events of Suki. So regardless of that, I don't know what other explanation there can be for Ougi's sudden appearance, how she's manipulated things behind the scenes up to this point, and everything that's going down there. But regardless, man, if she knew the answer, why is she genuinely surprised unless she's putting up this facade and front and slowly twisting and warping the man's mind? And I don't understand how. I don't want it to be that it's simply 100% on Ougi as a new creation via Aragi's subconscious. I need it to be that there's some sort of impetus from Araragi that's prompting Ougi's actions at every point. Alright guys, as far as Sadachi's concerned, the whole dialogue and that whole rant, which was fucking amazing. I have to give props to whoever Sadachi's voice actress is. The whole rant leads me to believe that in the past, and then she's upset that he's forgotten his roots, that he's forgotten why she truly hates him in the first place, and it all boils down to what she's criticizing the most is his self-righteousness and his ideas of justice, ultimately just being a part and parcel of him trying to assuage himself in some shape or form. Maybe it has to do with the trauma that Ougi is referring to, and maybe, you know, with the strong sense of justice, and we've seen it throughout, and it's been a big theme in Monogatari as far as Araragi is concerned, the Fire Sisters are concerned, and everything like that, which we come to get confirmation is imbued from their parents. Maybe that has forced his mind to work the way it was, where we've seen him time and again. This is the man that gets wrecked near death time and time again. That's how he saves the day, and he's willing to put himself in harm's way no matter the cost for anybody and everyone, dude. Anybody that needs help, he's willing to put himself in harm's way, dude. And that's his idea of justice. That's his righteousness right there. And he's trying to decipher Sadachi's, but she's upset with this. And here's the thing, dude. And I love the way that also her words about people can't be happy unless somebody else saves them. It kind of leads me to believe that in the past, potentially even Sadachi had feelings for Araragi, and that's also why she's a bit salty as to the fact that he has a girlfriend at this point and everything like that. But she was not able to save him, or he forgot her in some sense, or something transpired. I can't really put my finger on it now until I get a rewatch him, because every Monogatari thing that I did, every episode, I've already rewatched, you know, first episode of Hawaii. I'm gonna rewatch this episode probably sometime this week, because I gotta keep that at least 2 watch minimum before the season ends, dude. That's just how I like to roll with it. But I digress. I need to rewatch him before I can kind of peer into it more readily as far as what happened and transpired in their past and everything like that. I feel like there's a lot of hints and setup when they're in this little, like, broken down mansion, but I was so focused on the Ougi dialogue and seeing, oh my god, it's too fiendish. Then certain shots, the illustrations, fucking visually stunning as always. This episode was on point. But also I feel like Sadachi, and I think those words also play off of, you know, Mei's mantra that was instituted from the beginning of the series, where it's like, I can't save you. You know, only you can save yourself. People can only save themselves. You might be able to get help and nudged in that direction from somebody else, but only you can save you. And Araragi even says it to her, trying to console her when she's fucking heated as fuck. He's like, I've often been pondering this myself, and I think that theme that's been running through the series and these ideas of justice and everything like that are crucial to whatever trauma that Araragi has experienced, crucial to, you know, what's taking place and the events that happened in the past as far as Sadachi's character is concerned, as far as Aragi's concerned, and crucial to, you know, Ougi and her movements right now and what she's trying to accomplish. So I really just need to know if Ougi operates of her own will, or if it's, you know, still prompted subconsciously by Araragi having created this apparition. Because I'm done. It's covered. Like, the link is clear, especially after realizing 100% where this is in the timeline and being confused about the, you know, Maya Jiangxi for a little while. It's like, yo, but honestly, if that's the case, then it's even more suspect. It's even more suspect than it ever was, dude. Oh my god. But anyway, that's pretty much it for this one. I wanted to go more in depth, and next week I think I'm going to try and go even more in depth than this one and actually go into the dialogue. Right now I didn't actually set anything up for it or anything, but I did want to talk about this theory as well as analyze the episode a little bit. But that Gahara scene was good, dude. That's all I have to really say. That Gahara scene was good. So anyway, let me know your thoughts on this episode. Let me know how you're feeling about Ougi and her character. Any other theories you might have as far as Ougi is concerned. Please, nobody spoil me, because I have avoided, like, I could have spoiled myself a long time ago if I wanted to. I honestly could have spoiled myself a long time ago. And I know the general progression of the rest of, you know, second season, because I know the summary of the events and the arcs that are to come, but I do not know what transpires in any of them. So nobody spoil me. This is just how I'm feeling based on the information that I have up to this point. And I think, for me personally, it's 100%. There's no other way that I can rationalize some of, you know, Ougi's dialogue and her movements at this stage, and the ties to the events that she's been orchestrating throughout the series, from, you know, Kaiki Deshu's, you know, attempted assassination, trying to fuck with my best boy, you know, creating, you know, Goddess Nadeko and everything like that, and you know, multiple other events. And the whole thing that Sadachi was saying about, you know, being the breaking the fourth wall and talking about the person that's just, you know, watching over everything, and right before Ougi murders the man himself, I'm just like, yo, what does this truly mean then, and how deeply rooted in Araragi is this, and what is the end game of it? And it's gonna slowly be fleshed out. Especially, we need to see Shinobu Male. That's pretty much the arc that I'm most hyped for as Korra. First of all, because I'm gonna get to see my best girl Shinobu, and that's go to me. I need to see my girl Kiss Shop. But aside from that, I think that's gonna give us a lot of insight, as well as these two Sadachi arcs are definitely gonna give us a lot of insight into Aragi's past and into, you know, the inception of the trauma that he has in his mind. So, love the episode. Let me know your thoughts. As always, this is GOAT of fall season, dude. Like, this is my favorite series airing. It's fucking Monogatari greatness. You guys know how I feel about this. Top 10, just done. One of my favorite anime of all time. One of my favorite light novels of all time. My favorite light novel author of all time. So, there you go. Let me know your thoughts, and I'm out. Peace.